breaking, the memo is being released. Here's when you can expect to see it. Grab the Popcorn by Liberty Bell for freedomdaily.com. For the past several days, hashtag Release the Memo has been trending on social media as conservatives across the country are demanding the release of the newly discovered damaging report. Over the weekend, the traction only gained further steam as more people began to echo this phrase, causing the deep state to tremble in their treasonous boots. In the past, the left may have been able to sweep this memo under the rug, but that changed after what was released today. Another stunning report surfaced earlier today that showed that text messages between disgraced FBI agent Peter Strzok and his mistress, Lisa Page, went missing right around the time that Robert Mueller was appointed to oversee the Russian collusion investigation. With this new information brought to light, the memo has been pushed further into the spotlight, and now we have time when it is expected to be released, and it is sooner than you think. Americans across the country have been eagerly awaiting the release of the anticipated memo that, according to all that have seen it, say it is worse than they could have ever imagined. The memo details the FISA surveillance abuses that were conducted under the Barack Obama administration and how they used these secret courts to spy on a presidential candidate and use lies to make that happen. Early on Monday morning, Congress Dave Joyce appeared on Fox and Friends, where he stated that he had seen the memo and its contents were deeply disturbing. Joyce was asked in the interview if the contents of the memo would be cause for termination of anyone involved in this scandal, which prompted Joyce to respond with, "Termination would be the least of these people's worries." Then, when Joyce was asked if the people would go to jail, he responded with, "They should." Now, how bad is this memo? Joyce added, "Every American would be surprised how bad it is." According to Joyce, the memo has been making its rounds through Congress for a bit now, and the contents enclosed in the memo has stunned almost every member of Congress who has read it. It's a 4-minute clip, but let's just take a little listen.
Some Republican lawmakers claiming that the FISA surveillance memo that we've heard so much about will shock the country if it's made public. Our next guest is one of those lawmakers sounding the alarm. This as the House Intel Committee prepares for its official release. So are Americans any closer to learning the truth? Republican Congressman Dave Joyce of Ohio joins us right now from Statuary Hall. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I know you can't tell us specifically what's in this thing, but how bad is it?
Well, 25 years I've been in law enforcement before I got here in 2013, and I can tell you that I read it twice just to make sure I read it properly, and it was deeply disturbing, as anybody who's been in law enforcement, and any American will find out once they have the opportunity to review it.
And of course, what we're hearing, and I know you can't talk about the specifics, is that what exactly was used to get those FISA warrants? Was it the dossier? Was there corruption at the highest levels of the FBI and the Department of Justice? From what you have read, if it is true and accurate, should heads roll? Will heads roll?
Absolutely, they should roll. I mean, termination would be the least of these people's worries once they get to see the documents. We've had this is the basis. The 4 pages are because the House Intelligence Committee, led by Chairman Nunes, has spent hundreds of hours synthesizing this into what is a very easily readable document that every American can have the opportunity to review and make their own determination on. But once you do, you'll be surprised how bad it is.
Do you think people could wind up going to jail?
They should. I mean, this is the highest standard. To me, in law enforcement, that's why it was disturbing, the point of making it sick. This is the highest standard that you have. And the Constitution protects everybody, even President Trump. He didn't give up his rights when he became president. And so we need to make sure that the documents are as accessible to everyone so they can understand whether it's President Trump or the everyday guy in the street, the Constitution applies to us all and should be everyone who has anything to do with it should be held accountable.
And does it sound like it's going to be released this week?
Well, the good part is it takes time. And unfortunately we're in a shutdown.
Yeah.
And so one of the questions I have is, we're all here, so we might as well have the hearings anyhow.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Gather around, declassify it, or do whatever you have to do.
Absolutely, start the process, because it's going to take time. I get that. Everything here takes time. But, whether it's 19 days, whether it's 3 months, I mean, they've done a lot of work to get us to this point. We need to do the rest of the work to bring it home to the American people.
One other shocking development over the weekend, Congressman, I think it was on Friday, the FBI released 384 new pages of text messages between those two FBI lovers who were part of the Mueller team. Now, as it turns out, the FBI says, hey, yeah, by the way, we're missing 5 months worth of the stuff because we can't find them because there was a problem with the software on the Samsung phone. It looks pretty fishy.
You think?
Can you imagine if one of us did that?
We'd go to jail.
They'd be calling for our scalps, absolutely. People either need to be terminated or prosecuted, depending on how deep that is. But the other thing is, get some real investigators in there, some people who care about justice and don't care about playing a game. And let them go after these people, because they may say they've lost these things, but I don't think Verizon or AT&T or any of the other phone companies have lost those records.
So you think they're somewhere?
Well, someone with a little determination should find that out. One thing I can tell you, when I sent out warrants and subpoenas in my time as a prosecutor, they were answered in fairly short order. And most of those big companies have lawyers and people on staff waiting just to take care of those type of things. And so I'm sure they'll go to all efforts to make sure that they get them to us.
Yeah, we'd love to see more of those text messages about that insurance policy.
Yeah, they could get them. Now, many of us are wondering, why would the release of this damaging memo take that long, since we have the right to know what is going on behind closed doors in our government? Well, to give more answers on why we may have this delay of 2 to 3 weeks, here is more from the Washington Examiner. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte and House Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy met with House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes over the weekend to discuss next steps for the memo that details alleged abuses by the Intelligence Committee. According to a committee source, no final decision was made on making it public because the three want to give lawmakers who haven't read it yet a chance to do so and weigh in. Are you kidding me? If a decision is made for a public release, the time frame would probably be 2 or 3 weeks, the source told the unbelievable 4-page report, which was made available to the entire House on Thursday, has since been viewed by at least 180 members as of Sunday. It is said to outline misuse in Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. I mean, why would it take so long? The FBI requested to receive a copy of the memo. Really? In order to evaluate the information. So we're going to give the Foxes a copy of the memo to... Are you kidding me? To take appropriate steps if necessary. To date, the request has been declined. I should hope so. FBI spokesman Andrew Ames told the Washington Examiner. Unnamed individuals who spoke with the Washington Post said the memo contains assertions that seek to discredit Fusion GPS, the opposition research firm that hired former British spy Christopher Steele to author the largely unverified Trump dossier. The document reportedly says the FBI included false claims from Steele about Trump associates with the spy. Well, everybody is waiting on the contents of this memo. Some people have taken to Twitter to give their thoughts. Okay, would really be epic if Donald Trump read the FISA memo at the State of the Union. The MSM would have no choice but to cover every single word. Hashtag release the memo. Would really be okay. I'm sure there would be immediate technical difficulties at CNN. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I told my husband that yesterday he would need to be crowned the greatest troll of all time. If he did it, I'd love to every minute of it. Hashtag Make America Great Again. Release the memo. Do it, do it, do it. That would be so satisfying to our president to vindicate himself in front of the whole world. This memo could be the game changer. It is the game changer we have all been waiting for over the last year. It's about time the American people know just how destructive Barack Obama and his minions were, and how they were the ones obstructing justice in our country. Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the rest of those involved in this shocking abuse of power deserve to answer for their crimes once and for all, and maybe now we will be able to see that happen. But get this. Like, in other words, you're going to give the FBI, good thing that they declined, give the FBI requested to receive a copy. What, are you kidding me? Good thing they declined it. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just mind-boggling. Here they're destroying the text messages because during that time was when the real messages were going haywire on those texts that could put them in prison. They should all be put in prison, even for losing the text. They should be obstruction of justice. That's it. It's not my problem. Anyway, only the FBI could destroy those text messages. It's no other entity. They have ways of getting this information. It's never destroyed totally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.